What's up, guys? Justin Gross here from the Chest Sunday edition. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys made it to church. Hope you guys made it to at least watch some live streaming with relation to God. I hope you got your check right with God, because I don't know where I'd be if I didn't have Him in my life. That's just the reality of it all, folks. So, there is, most of you listening know that I'm a personal trainer. I'm in fitness. I have a fitness business as a personal trainer, private facility that I focus on one-on-one individual training out of. And so needless to say, I get to work with a lot of different people and a lot of different mechanical patterns, a lot of different geometry with relation to anatomy. And I have found that in my years of experience that this is something that I come across often is negative or ill posture with people. I say negative because there's a certain type of posture that we must hold with regards to movement mechanics when doing a squat or a deadlift or a lunge or any hinge of any sort, etc. And I notice this often with people. A lot of people, when they come to me, they're sedentary. They have been sedentary for quite a while, and their movement mechanics, they're not the best, right? Even if they've trained before in the past with another personal trainer or at another gym, they're very closed off in regards to the way that we need to facilitate a certain movement. We need to move properly in that hinge or that squat or that press or whatever the case may be, because if we don't, right, we're going to produce energy leaks. If we're not postured up in quotations, we're going to produce possible energy leaks, and that can rear its head to or provide us to be susceptible to injury in the future, right? So it's a lot of my job to correct posture. That's what I'm doing on the daily, is just correcting people's postures. Because if I correct their posture, I can have them hone in on more of the production of the movement. They can be more productive in the movement. They can have a better execution of the movement, hence more results. Everybody's happy, win-win, but that's not always how it goes down, right? People's postures, they fail. And in the movement, so to speak, they may be postured up in the beginning of the movement, but then as fatigue sets in, their posture starts to deviate, starts to become more flaccid. I hate using that word, but it's the truth. And it's my job, among many other things, to correct their posture. So in regards to fitness, this is a real thing that I have to look at every day. This is a part of me being a trainer. And the thing that makes me a better trainer than people that are just coming into the fitness field is I have a trained eye. My eye is so trained because it has so much experience, so many hours and hours of people that I've worked with. So I know exactly what to look for, everything up the kinetic chain, from ankle to neck and everything in between. And if our posture is not correct in the movement, we're going to produce some energy leaks. And if we have energy leaks, we're going to be susceptible to compensatory patterns, and that can lead into faulty recruitment patterns, and that can lead into possible injury, etc. So it's very important that we look at our posture when we work out. But it's also super important we look at posture in our daily life, because that can produce results too. And your posture is going to inevitably lead to your progression, whatever the case may be, whether it's in fitness or it's in your life. It's in your daily life, your daily routine. It's in your job. It's in the way you speak to people. It's everything. Your posture is everything. And this was laying on my heart very, very very, very intently the last couple of days, just the word posture coming to my head. I don't know why, but posture kept coming into my head. And it wasn't because of fitness. I just use that as an illustration to help you to understand where I'm coming from with this notion. But posture is just so important. And your posture daily, what you choose to focus on, what you choose to make your horse in front of you in terms of where you're led and what your delivery on and where your intent lies, that is your posture. You hold a posture to those regards. And that can lead you down a faulty road, or it can lead you down a progressed road. And one of the things that leads people down, I believe, and I don't necessarily believe this is an evil, but I do believe that if this is your focus, that this can lead you down the road of lesser intent, or to lesser progression, let me say that. And I believe it's the fixation of your monetary growth and where you want to be monetarily speaking. I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that you have to have goals, and you set standards and structures to attain those goals. But at the same time, I've spoke about it so many times before. When you put the horse before the cart, the cart before the horse. Why do I always mess that saying up? I always mess that saying up, even though in my head, I know exactly the way it's illustrated. Anyways, you put the cart before the horse, you can oftentimes see the wrong thing and have the wrong focus. And somebody that I really admire when it comes to motivational speaking, and I really admire this gentleman. Super impressive, just came from nothing, and I believe that he's doing the work of God. But even though you're doing the work of God and you're speaking you're speaking the word of God, or you're speaking in a way that is authentic to you, and maybe you possibly relate that word to God, or it's coming from God, it's portaling through God, etc., whatever. I believe that you also have the way that you can also, you are a human being. You can speak however you want to speak, even if you're delivering it from God, or it's coming from a righteous place. I also believe that sometimes the inheritance of being just a human being and being on this earth and having all of the extrinsic factors around you can play a role in possibly what you say. So even though you mean well, sometimes your word can be delivered in a way that is mainstream of men and not God. And that's where you got to be careful. That's where I have to be careful too. Because what I believe in wholeheartedly is God and everything God. But I'm not a pastor. I'm not studying the Bible intently like I should. I'll be honest with you, I don't hardly ever read my Bible. And that's something that I know that would make me a better human. But like you, the Bible's hard for me to read. There's so many different stories, and I don't really know where to go. I guess I could start from the beginning and just kind of, meander through, but meander. But at the same time, I have ADD like crazy, and it's hard for me to just sit there and just intently listen or illustrate the words in my head, because honestly, it's hard for me to pronounce a lot of them, or, it gets confusing at times. I'm sure I'm not in that pond alone. But here's the thing. Whenever I open my Bible, I always pray before I ask God to just show me something, and I'll just open and I'll just start reading. And even then, that happens very rarely. I'll be honest with you, as a human being, I'll be honest. But I know that that's something that I need to do more of. I need to get more checked in with God in that regard. But my posture every day is not to jumble what's authentic to me and what man is saying around me, or what's producing around me, and get that confused with what God says about me and what God wants from me. And so this gentleman that I told you I admire, he was saying, you he was illustrating a story about another person that asked him, I want to make the most money. How do I make the most money? And this guy that I admire a lot, this motivational speaker that I admire a lot, and again, this guy's posture, I believe, is focusing on God. Even though he doesn't talk about it a lot, I believe that it is. So he says to him, he starts going into how this guy can make a lot of money. And what caught me off guard is that at no one point in the beginning did this guy that I admire stop him. And I'm not going to yet mention his name because you'll know who he is if I mention his name. At no one point did this guy stop him and say in the very beginning, which is what I would have done, the first thing I would have done, is if someone came to me and said, I want to make a lot of money. What do I do? How do I make a lot of money? I'd say your focus should not be on money. Your focus should be on your purpose first. That is your posture. Your purpose should be your posture every single day. Money should not be your position right now. Money should not be your focus. Your focus should be your purpose, dude. That should be your focus right now. Money, you can forget money right now. Money's not going to produce your legacy. Money's not going to change lives, even though it can in the end. Your beginning game should be, what is your purpose? What are you born and bred on this planet to do? That is your legacy. Like I've spoke about it many times, that is where you need to position your posture on. Not, oh, how do I make a lot of money? And I don't know why this guy didn't talk about that or hone in on that in the very beginning. It kind of, to be honest with you, because I admire him, it kind of depressed me a little bit for him. Like it made me a little bit, I wouldn't say angry, but it definitely made me question him a little bit. Why do I question somebody like that? When I know, positions himself with the posture of God, because that's who he knows brought him out of the gutter he was in. Why doesn't he talk about that? Why doesn't he position himself in a way that is humbling to his purpose and where he has brought himself with God? Why doesn't he share that with this kid that's talking to him about trying to make a lot of money? I don't understand that. I don't get that. Why is he not speaking on that as the root before saying, okay, well, I want you to meet me at this place at this time, and I need you to... Why? Why aren't you talking about purpose before money? And I know this guy means well. I know that he knows better. But oftentimes we can forget about the root structure first, and we start to instead look at the branches. And we're looking to the branches to bear fruit instead of looking at the root of the foundation, the substratum of what we're built on and what we're called to be. We forget. We start looking at the branches because it's easy to look at the branches. It's easy to pick off the fruit from the branches than it is to build a solid substratum. But that needs to be your posture. Your posture needs to be focused on the root of who you are. It needs to be you need to correct that every single day. Like I correct people's posture and fitness every day. Because ultimately, when I fix their posture and it becomes a part of their neural end pattern in their nervous system, they start to produce that on their own without me. But that's a part of my position as a trainer, is to correct their posture all the time if need be. Because I know that if I consistently correct their posture, consistently, day in, day out, it's going to ingrain in their nervous system, and it's now going to be a part of their neural end pattern. And now they'll start to produce that posture without me. And that's ultimately their progression. But I ask you, what is your posture today? How are you positioning yourself? Who are you positioning yourself around? And why? What is your why? Because these are all important components to your inevitable progression in life and your purpose being fulfilled. This is a short podcast today because this is honestly the only thing I want to talk about. What is your posture? How can you fix your posture? Who do you need to facilitate? Who do you need to restructure in terms of who you're around? Or how do you need to restructure your life? How do you need to reposition your posture? What do you need to focus in on that is going to make you the Brian, the Sally, the Jonah, the Bradley, the Justin that you were called to be? What is your posture? Who is affecting your posture? What thoughts are affecting your posture? Because daily you need to take up your cross and you need to fix your posture. Because if you don't fix your posture, you won't see your progression. And just like I fix these people in here, the more I fix them, the more I tell them, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to fix this, you need to do this. Whatever the case may be, whatever I have them do, it's in order to fix the alignment in their spine, fix the position in their posture. Because I ultimately know they can't be as progressive if they have faulty posture. So what is your posture today? What are you looking at? What are you focusing in on? Are these things that are going to manifest your ultimate purpose that is meant to be on this planet? Or are they just things to pass time by? When it came to me speaking on this, I really didn't want to speak on it because I wanted to talk on something else. But this seemed more important because all too often I see people's postures in a slouch, or they're positioned in a way, they're positioned towards something that they shouldn't be. They're influenced by somebody who has no authority. The only authority that person has is money. But their minds are garbage. What's coming out of their mouth is 6th grade vocabulary. It's nothing, it's garbage. It bears no fruit. And I know you're thinking, how did that person come in all kinds of money when they have a 6th grade level vocabulary? I don't know. The devil gives fruits too. The devil gives gifts too. So I don't know. Take it up with him. Take it up with that regard. But it's the truth. I'm just relaying what I see. So fix your posture, people. Fix your eyes, your focus. And I need you to take an audit of yourself daily. Because the constant audit will produce the feedback that you need to continue to correct your posture and to continually align yourself with what is right and what is the fruits of your life and the fruits of your existence and what's going to leave your legacy.